Welcome to Mishna study Masechet Yoma Perek Zayin Mishna Aleph. Over here in this Mishnah, we're going to discuss the reading of the Torah on Yom Kippur. So, Bala Kohen Gadol Likrot, right now he comes to read the Sefer Torah. Even though bigdei boots koreh, if he wants to read them in his linen garments, he can. V'im lav b'istil lava mishelo. Right, if he wants to use his regular clothing, his regular white robe, he could do that also. What do we learn from here? We learn from here that the reading of Torah is not considered an avodah, it's not considered a service, right? And therefore, he's allowed to read in whatever type of clothing that he wants. Now, when we said that he could read it even in his linen garments, so we see over here that you're allowed to wear bigdei kehuna, right? Even if it's not at the time of an avodah. Right, even if it's not a time of service, because as we said, the Torah itself is not a service, right? So you can go either one he wants. We have a famous rule that bigdei kehuna nitenu lehanot shelo b'shat avodah. Right, you're allowed to benefit from the clothing of the kehuna as long as it's not at the time of service. Now, what does he do? Hazan HaKnesset notel Sefer Torah. The Hazan of the Knesset takes the Sefer Torah, but notuna the Rosh HaKnesset. He gives it to the head of the Knesset. Rosh HaKnesset notuna skan. Right? He gives it to the assistant Kohen Gadol. V'asigan notuna the Kohen Gadol. And the assistant Kohen Gadol passes it to the Kohen Gadol. So we're passing person to person to person, right? To give it really a hashivut, right? To give it a level of importance. Kabel. Right, the Kohen Gadol receives it. V'koreh omed. He reads it standing up. Right, so we say he's standing up, right? So mashma implies over here that he's sitting beforehand. And where do we know you're allowed to sit in the Beit HaMikdash? You're not allowed to sit in the Beit HaMikdash. The only place you're allowed to sit is in the Nashim, in the woman's courtyard. And that's where he reads the Sefer Torah. We actually learn from this Mishna that he has to stand up, which shows that he was sitting before. And the only place you're allowed to sit if you're not a king from Malchei Beit David is in the woman's courtyard. Right, the kings of Beit David are allowed to sit in the Beit HaMikdash. We learned this from David. Hamelech v'yavo Hamelech David v'yeshev lifnei Hashem. Right, pasuk in Divrei Yamim. So right, he's not a king. So even the Kohen Gadol is not allowed to sit down in the Beit HaMikdash. What does he read? Koreh Acharemot. Right, he reads the parasha Acharemot. This is what we actually read today in Yom Kippur also. Ve'ach be'asor. Right, ach be'asor lachodesh shvi'i hazeh. Right, that's in Sefer Vayikra. And then he continues, right? So those two are near each other. V'golel et Torah umaniha b'hako. He rolls the Torah back up, and he places it on his chest. Right now, ve'omer, and he says, "Yater mima shekarati lifnechem katuv." Right, more than what's written over here. Right, and then I read that when I read in front of you is written in this Torah. And ובעשור שבחומש הפקודים קורא אותן על פה. And parashat Asor, parashat Pinchas, in Sefer Bamidbar, in Chumash Pekudim, right? That's what Chazal calls Sefer Bamidbar. He reads it by heart, right? He doesn't read it from the scroll itself. Why not they bring out another Sefer Torah, right? It's going to bring out another Sefer Torah because of we don't want to assume that there was something wrong with the first Torah, so we don't bring out a second. And we also don't roll it from Sefer Vayikra to Sefer Bamidbar because of Kavod HaTzibur, right? Because of the honor of the Tzibur, and we don't want to burden them. So therefore, right, he says he reads it by heart. He says 8 berachot on him. What are the 8 berachot? So ala Torah, right? Ala Torah. There's actually 2 berachot over here that refer to Al Torah. The first one, before you say the beracha for the Torah, before you read the Torah, you say Asher b'charbanu mikol ha'amim. Right, this we also do this today. And then he reads the Torah, and afterwards he ends off and says Asher natalanu Torah temet. Right, right. That's the second beracha. Then he reads the third one is Retzeh Hashem Eloheinu. Right, this is Al Ha'avodah. The next one is Val Ha'odah. That's Mundim and Achnulach. The next one is Val Mechilat Avon. That's Silach Lanu. And the next one is Ve'ala Mikdash. Right, so he prays that the Shekhinah should always, dwell in the Beit HaMikdash. And the 7th one is Ve'al Israel, Ve'ala Kohanim. Right, it was first he has the Harambam says the 7th one is he blesses the Kohanim that their korbanot should be accepted, and the 8th one is he prays for all of Israel. Right, so according to Harambam, those two are inverted, and they should always win, right, with the help of God. And then he ends off, closes off, Baruch Atah Hashem Shomei HaTefilah, and that's what the last one refers to over here, Ve'al She'ar HaTefilah.